In our headlines on this Monday afternoon, September 25th, here in South Korea. President Yoon Suk-yeol says the international community has pinned higher hopes for constructive contributions from South Korea in addressing various global concerns to ensure broader stability and prosperity. Meanwhile, Chinese President Xi Jinping reportedly touches upon prospects of a potential visit to South Korea during talks with Prime Minister Han Duck-soo on the sidelines of the Asian Games currently underway in Hangzhou. And speaking of the regional sport event, the 19th Asian Games took off this past weekend in neighboring China. And Team Korea secures 5 gold medals, including those for taekwondo and fencing thus far, placing South Korea at number 2 on the medal table as of early Monday. Presiding over Monday's cabinet meeting following his latest diplomatic agenda in New York, President Yoon Suk-yeol sought to highlight the importance of Korea's role in addressing matters of universal concern in line with global expectations. Our top office correspondent Kim Do-yeon reports.
Looking back on his trip to New York last week, with 48 diplomatic events in 5 days, President Yoon Suk-yeol says the world now has higher expectations for South Korea's contributions globally. The comment came at a cabinet meeting on Tuesday where he said the reputation meant more leaders tuned in to his speech at the UN General Assembly and boosted the status of Busan's World Expo bid. He also appealed the strength of Busan's bid to each of the nearly 50 leaders he met during the week.
그들은 우리 정부의 자유와 연대라는 국정기조가 외교 무대에서도 일관되게 적용되고 있어 대한민국 정부의 국제적 역할에 대한 신뢰와 기대가 점점 커지고 있다고 했습니다.
The president touched upon his speech at the UN General Assembly, re-emphasizing South Korea's vision to take the lead in closing global disparities in 3 areas: development, climate change, and digital order. To do this, he reiterated that the South Korean government's official development assistance budget will be more than double next year compared to 5 years ago.
우리는 개발협력 수원국들이 의식주 환경을 빠르게 개선할 수 있게 돕고 이들이 경제 사회적으로 자립할 수 있는 역량을 갖추도록 교육 훈련 분야 ODA를 강화해 나갈 것입니다.
At the UN, he committed an extra $300 million to the Green Climate Fund and kickstarted the Carbon-Free Alliance, urging ministries to rally countries to join. He emphasized that the alliance's success would boost South Korea's edge in nuclear and hydrogen sectors, opening up a lucrative new export market and strengthening competitiveness in the nuclear and hydrogen sectors. In the meantime, President Yoon mentioned South Korea's leadership in formulating the Digital Bill of Rights during the cabinet meeting.
늘 새로운 기술이 출현할 때마다 새로운 규범과 표준에 대한 논의가 이루어졌으며 이 논의를 주도한 나라가 예외 없이 해당 기술과 산업 발전을 주도해 왔습니다. 이제 새로운 AI 디지털 규범의 정립과 국제기구의 설립을 우리 대한민국이 주도하고자 합니다.
This comes as he attended New York University's Digital Vision Forum for the 2nd year in a row to emphasize the importance of new rules for digital innovation. He also took the opportunity to repeat his stern message toward what was going on between Russia and North Korea. Without mentioning a country specifically, he said violating UN sanctions is not acceptable. He said as a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council starting 2024, South Korea will lead the world's peace based on rule of law. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
And clarity on matters of global concerns such as climate change and broader security is reportedly providing President Yoon Suk-yeol with a tangible platform for productive foreign policy. Now, this is according to pundits analyzing his latest diplomatic initiatives. Our senior correspondent Oh Soo-young reports.
South Korea is stepping out into the global spotlight with its confident diplomacy as it calls out subversive powers and commits to building a fair and rules-based world based on solidarity. That's according to experts speaking to Arirang News following President Yoon Suk-yeol's week of diplomacy during the UN General Assembly. His speech on Wednesday local time took a firmer stance than ever before on global security, asserting that Seoul will not tolerate enablers of North Korea's weapons of mass destruction, issuing a warning towards Russia directly. After Vladimir Putin hosted Kim Jong-un earlier this month, Yoon said it was, quote, paradoxical to be a permanent member of the UN Security Council, yet aid a country sanctioned by the Council's resolutions. He also said that Moscow has instigated war against Ukraine, which is also directly threatened by the potential Russia-North Korea weapons collaboration.
Yeah, I really like the fact that he played up the proactive side of Korean foreign policy. I think it's pretty unprecedented. I think he highlighted again the necessity of aligning with like-minded states, emphasizing liberal international norms.
Backing the call to reform the Security Council's membership system, where Russia enjoys veto powers, Yoon made it clear Seoul will not stand for threats against peace, particularly as a non-permanent member of the Council for a 2-year term beginning next year.
I think for a while, South Korea was just focused on South Korean things. But as a global pivotal state talking about values and human rights, universal norms, President Yoon has taken on a regional and global role that I can't remember any other South Korean leader doing. And you could see the welcome that he got at the White House, the state dinner, the speech at Congress, the Camp David summit. I think South Korea is front and center in President Biden's Indo-Pacific strategy and a very trusted partner and ally.
Beyond security issues, observers say South Korea is not only backing Washington's initiatives, but assuming the role of a responsible player in the international community. In this General Assembly address, Yoon pledged to spearhead climate and digital initiatives in particular, launching a multilateral platform for cooperation on carbon-free efforts and pushing for a digital Bill of Rights.
President Yoon is not a junior partner. And in many ways, the initiative is his to do things that even you and I may not dream of. And this is the key. Whispering in the halls of the General Assembly and the various missions to the UN, the fact that, hey, this South Korean president, look what he's doing and look what he's saying and look all the heads of leaders that he's meeting.
Particularly with the US and China locked in geopolitical rivalry on multiple fronts, from trade and infrastructural projects to technology and maritime norms. Experts say Korea's principled playbook on diplomacy aligns with its vision of becoming a global pivotal state, as it not only joins but leads conversations to secure a brighter future for the world. Oh Seong, Arirang News.
And Prime Minister Han Duck-soo met with Chinese President Xi Jinping this past weekend on the margins of the Asian Games in Hangzhou, and their interaction is adding fresh momentum to prospects of trilateral involving Japan as well as bilateral summit talks. Our Shin Se-byuk reports.
South Korean Prime Minister Han Duck-soo met with Chinese President Xi Jinping on Saturday. The meeting came as Han visited the eastern Chinese city of Hangzhou for the opening ceremony of the Asian Games. The two expressed their mutual commitment to advancing the relationship between the neighboring countries.
We both are currently grappling with North Korean provocations, global economic uncertainties, and supply chain disruptions.
She also said Beijing is willing to work with South Korea to promote strategic bilateral relations to support peace and security in the region.
We are destined to be close neighbors and companions that can't be moved apart.
During a closed meeting between Han and Xi, the Chinese president reportedly expressed his interest in a visit to South Korea. Should it happen, this would be Xi's first visit to South Korea since 2014. South Korea's senior news agency, citing a government official who spoke on condition of anonymity, reported that Seoul will start discussing Xi's visit with Beijing through diplomatic channels. Seoul's National Security Advisor Cho Tae-yong, in an interview with local media on Sunday, said the presidential office is set to arrange Xi's visit. What was also mentioned was Xi's hope for the resumption of a trilateral summit meeting between South Korea, Japan, and China, which was last held in 2019. If both the trilateral summit and Xi's visit do take place, this could signal some positive developments for the three neighboring countries' strained relations. Meanwhile, starting Monday, South Korea, China, and Japan will hold a high-level meeting in Seoul for 2 days to discuss trilateral cooperation. South Korean Deputy Foreign Minister Chung Byung-won, Japanese Vice Foreign Minister Takehiro Funakoshi, and Chinese Assistant Foreign Minister Nong Rong will attend the talks. This round of talks will include a separate discussion on setting up a trilateral summit between the three leaders. 신세벽, Arirang News.
In other news, it's been a month and a day today, that is Monday, since Japan began releasing its radioactive wastewater from the Fukushima nuclear power plant into the Pacific Ocean. While controversy continues from neighboring countries, including China, data regarding the discharge reportedly remains clear. Our Ising has the latest.
This past Sunday marked exactly 1 month since Japan began releasing wastewater from its crippled Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant and concluded the first phase of the release on the 11th of this month. The first discharge amounted to a total of 7,800 tons, and the Tokyo Electric Power Company diluted the contaminated water with a large amount of seawater before sending it through an undersea tunnel about 1 kilometer long. To analyze the impact of the discharge on the environment, the Tokyo Electric Power Company, along with Japan's Environment Ministry and other interested agencies, collected seawater and fish from around the nuclear power plant and analyzed each for tritium concentration. Data showed that levels of tritium from the wastewater remain below the standards set by TEPCO. The highest concentration of tritium recorded was 10 becquerels per liter, detected near the discharge port on the 31st of last month. However, this was far below 700 becquerels per liter within 3 kilometers of the nuclear power plant, which TEPCO had set as the standard for discontinuing the discharge. Despite recent data showing the safety of the discharged wastewater, China is continuing to show its opposition. Since the release of the wastewater, China has imposed a complete ban on all Japanese seafood. The ban is a major blow to the Japanese seafood industry, as China is the world's largest importer of Japanese seafood. However, TEPCO will continue on with the release as it plans a second round and a total release of 31,200 tons of wastewater by March next year. This amount is equivalent to approximately 2.3% of the contaminated water stored at the Fukushima nuclear power plant. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
The 19th Asian Games kicked off this past Saturday in China's Hangzhou, and my colleague Song Yoo-jin shares with us scenes from the opening night. Do take a look.
Hangzhou. This city in China's Zhejiang province, known for traditional literature and art, is now the stage for Asia's largest sports event. The 19th Asian Games kicked off with an opening ceremony under the night sky on Saturday.
So the opening ceremony took place here at the Hangzhou Olympic Sports Center Stadium. So you can see the stadium right behind me. It's called the Big Lotus here because the stadium resembles a lotus flower.
The ceremony revolved around the theme Tides Surging in Asia, featuring performances using augmented reality and LED displays. Team Korea entered the stadium 16th among the 45 teams. Reigning Asian Games champions Gu Bon-gil and Kim So-young carried the national flag on behalf of some 870 athletes. Prime Minister Han Duck-soo represented the Korean delegation. North Korea entered the stadium 7th. The highlight of the ceremony, for the first time in Asian Games history, the cauldron was ignited both digitally and physically. A digital torchbearer sprinted on the giant screen toward the cauldron, while Wang Shun, Tokyo Olympics gold medalist swimmer, carried the real torch. Demonstrating the game's commitment to going green, zero-carbon methanol derived from recycled waste carbon fueled the cauldron. Physical fireworks were replaced with digital ones. And after the opening ceremony ended, people flocked to the Big Lotus to enjoy the festive mood.
Back during the 2008 Beijing Olympics, I couldn't go there because I was too little. And now that I've grown up, I brought my father and brother this time to enjoy the game's atmosphere.
The digital torchbearer surprised me because I'm in the fields of robots and artificial intelligence. This made me dream of integrating my two majors, robotics and media, to do something in the future.
The Hangzhou Asian Games will run until October 8th with more than 12,000 athletes competing in 40 sports. Song Yoo-jin, Arirang News, Hangzhou.
And staying with the regional sporting event, up next, our Matthew Ashley covers Team Korea's first day, during which it garnered 5 gold medals, 5 silver and more bronze medals to stand second on the medal table as of early Monday.
Let's take a look at what's going on at the Hangzhou Asian Games. On Sunday, Kim Son-woo logged South Korea's first medal in the competition with a silver in the women's modern pentathlon. The 27-year-old achieved her spot on the podium with a total of 1,386 points, 20 points behind China's Zhang Mingyu and 12 ahead of Bian Yufei, also from China. The silver is Kim's third consecutive ASEAN medal, after a previous team gold in 2014 and an individual bronze in 2018. The discipline is a combination of 5 events: show jumping, fencing, swimming, running and pistol shooting. South Korean athletes in the men's pentathlon later scooped up 2 golds, with Jeon Eun-tae picking up the winners' medals in the individual as well as team events. South Korea on Sunday maintained dominance in its home sport of taekwondo, securing 2 gold medals in the men's and women's individual pumse. Kang Won-jin picked up the first gold after he beat Ma Yoon-jong of Chinese Taipei. Kang's win was shortly followed by another triumph, this time from Cha Ye-in, who beat Yuiko Niwa of Japan to claim the women's individual title. From the preliminary round to the quarter-finals, athletes performed recognized pumse routines. From the semi-finals onward, they performed a recognized routine for the first program, followed by a freestyle routine. Taekwondo pumse is a systematic sequence of taekwondo techniques linked together to form a pattern of moves that is scored by a panel of judges. Turning over to fencing, South Korea's very own Choi In-jong secured a gold in the women's EP category in an all-Korean final. Coming up against compatriot and fencing world champion Song Se-ra, Choi beat her opponent 9-8. The win is the 33-year-old's first Asian Games gold. She previously won 2 bronze in individual EP in 2014 and 2018 and 2 silvers in team categories at the Olympics. Sunday's win marks South Korea's first gold in fencing and has brought the country's gold medal tally to its current of 5. And finally, we turn to swimming, where South Korean swimming star Hwang Sun-woo clinched bronze on Sunday in the men's 100-meter freestyle in his ASEAN debut. The 20-year-old came in third, clocking a time of 48.04 seconds. It's far from his local South Korean record of 47.56 seconds, which was set during the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. First place was taken by China's Pang Zhangle, who broke his own Asian record at 46.97 seconds. Hwang voiced disappointment at his result, but has promised to make up for it in his upcoming events. He is due to enter the men's 4x200-meter freestyle on Monday, followed by the 200-meter freestyle on Wednesday. Matthew Ashley, Arirang News.
Back on the local front, the business sentiment within Korea's manufacturing industry remains bleak, especially among the IT and petrochemical sectors. The findings show the industry's business survey index standing at 84 for the final quarter of this year, down 7 points on quarter. This latest decline marks the second such slump in a row. The Korea Chamber of Commerce and Industry is linking the plunge in business prospects to slower recovery in China and higher global energy prices. Korea's southern resort island of Jeju has put in place plans to set up large-scale energy storage systems to address surplus energy supplies. Our Yoon explains.
The problem of energy excess supply has been occurring more frequently in Jeju City. A surplus of renewable energy is the major cause of frequent arbitrary shutdowns of power generators. In 2015, there were only 3 such occurrences, but that figure had increased to 132 by 2022. Behind the excessive electricity supply is the rapid expansion of wind turbine generators and other power facilities. This worsened in 2021 when solar power alone exceeded 20% of total energy production due to private solar power generation, also called electricity farming. In response, the government has moved to issue a tender for a long-duration energy storage system, ESS, in Jeju City, where the problem of renewable energy curtailment was considered most urgent. The facility is expected to have the capacity to charge and discharge 65 megawatts over 4 hours.
The energy is stored in batteries, and in the evening, when there is higher demand for electricity, the energy is discharged over 4 hours.
Overseen by the country's energy ministry, the winning bid will secure a long-term tender of 15 years, and providers will be paid the pre-contracted price, which will be determined through the bidding market. The volume of the ESS facility falls short of the required 100 megawatts, but it will still play a role in stabilizing the energy system of Jeju City. Additionally, a third submarine cable connecting Jeju Island and the South Korean mainland is expected to be completed this year.
The plan also includes storing the electricity as hydrogen, then reusing it as electricity when needed. This should contribute to stabilizing energy output here on Jeju Island.
Now, Jeju Island has also unveiled a large-scale green hydrogen project that aims to achieve a total annual output of 30 megawatts. The technology behind this project produces hydrogen using electricity generated from renewable energy without emitting carbon. Following renewable energy expansion policies, Jeju City plans to build and operate energy storage facilities with a total volume of 160 megawatts by 2026. 이은진, 아리랑 뉴스.
The capital city has been hosting its very first Seoul Hanok week, and this past Sunday, the event offered special tours to 9 Hanoks that are normally restricted to the public. Our Yoon was there.
Korea's traditional houses, or Hanok, invite people beyond their walls, revealing their beautiful appearance. Seoul Metropolitan Government is for the first time hosting a 2023 Seoul Hanok Week from September 18th to the 27th in Bukchon, Seochon, and Inpyeong Hanok Village. The Hanok Week will feature exhibitions, performances, and experiential and educational events that would allow visitors to enjoy the capital's Hanok in different ways.
Seoul's Hanok are considered part of the city's identity and valuable assets that have continued to evolve in response to new demands.
This house is called Hwigyamje. Built in traditional way, it has a history of more than 120 years in Bukchon Hanok village. It was designated Seoul Folk Culture Property number 14 in March 1977. Hwigyamje stylistically belongs to the early period following Japanese occupation. It shows how aspects of the Western lifestyle of that time were introduced into a traditional Korean house. Although the underfloor heating, grid-patterned floors, frame, roof, and floral decorations are all of the traditional style. Another Hanok that is open to the public is Yangnyu-dang. This Hanok earned second place in the 2012 National Hanok Competition with its harmonization of traditional values and modern architectural aspects.
These days, when it comes to Hanok, many people tend to think of them as just for Hanok Day. Here, in addition to accommodation, exhibitions are also held. We've designed spaces where you can both appreciate art and take a break while enjoying the space.
Chitta Pavilion, named after the Korean word for to build, is hosting music concerts on the evenings of September 22nd to the 24th. Passing through the bamboo grove at the entrance, visitors will see a round yard with kudir, which are old floor heating stones.
It's so close to the buzzing city, but when you're inside, it feels a lot quieter, peaceful. Really calm, and there's also the smell of the timber.
Yeah, no, but with the plants, it can create a natural shelter.
Director Kim added that the organizers hope Hanok will become cultural content that transcend time, space, and generations, and something that people from all over the world can seek out and enjoy. Lee Eun-hee, Arirang News.
Good afternoon. We had cloudy skies with wet roads to start off the day. Rain is taking a break but will return tonight to central regions, spreading nationwide tomorrow. In central areas, we'll see 5 to 30 millimeters. Southern parts of the country could see up to 20 millimeters into Tuesday. After a chilly start, temperatures have risen quickly, nearly 10 degrees from today's morning temperatures. Numbers stay above norms today, but there will be a huge drop in readings along with showers tomorrow. Highs in most parts of the country are in the mid-20s this afternoon with cloudy skies all day nationwide. Expect a mix of rain and clouds through the first half of the week, but bright skies return just in time for the Chuseok holiday. So we won't have much problem checking out the stunning shiny full moon during the break, but also October starts on a much chillier note. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the international weather conditions.
And those are the headlines at this hour here in Capital Seoul. Up next on Monday's edition of Issues and Insiders, we'll listen in on the confessions of a retired chef who secretly sought to expose North Korea's illicit weapons activities. Do stay with us.